The game is on. Flint Mathis playing it back. The U.S. will regard possession as a precious thing today. Brazil wearing the gold jerseys with the blue shorts and the blue stockings so as to contrast with the U.S. Brazil, of course, will wear white when it has the choice. White stockings, that is. It is a Mexican officiating crew. Felipe de Jesus Ramos is the on-field referee. Roque Jr. It is almost impossible to define a system of play for Brazil because it is so liquid. The players are so versatile, so skilled, and so aware of one another. Observe today how well spaced they are, regardless of what any other player is doing. There's always an option to pass in more than one direction.
Jack, what always stands out is even the Brazilian central defenders possess foot skills that rival some of the best attacking players on other countries' teams.
And here was Vampeta, number 8, playing the ball from the sideline. He is a central midfielder. Breaking it back, Josh Wolf, the star of Wednesday night, a little bit too hard for Bobby Convey, and it rolls out of bounds. Convey getting the start because, as we said, Jeff Agus is ill, and Rob Stone will have more about that in just a few moments. United States 1-8 all time against Brazil. Not surprising there at all. Brazil is the measuring stick worldwide for soccer. And this is a 22-year-old Lucio playing it to Cafu. Now forward to Chris John with Greg Vanny on him. Landon Donovan with his first touch of the game for the United States. He goes to work against Chris John. Now Mathis looking for Donovan. It rolls out off the U.S. Tempo is always a factor when you're playing Brazil. The Brazilians can slow it down almost to a walking pace, and 2 seconds later, all 10 running players are going at full sprint. Hard tackle in midfield. Chris Armas whistled for a trip against Chris John. Chris John 6 feet 1 inches tall, a big man as well. Pope volleys to midfield. We may see a lot of this. Long balls out of the back of the U.S. and Brazil setting up again. Bobby Convey, just his second full international appearance. Richie Williams. Running into trouble, tackled away, Vampeta, but it comes to Convey. Convey trying to run away from Juninho Paulista. Williams to Convey into the box, turns on it. Roque Jr. tackling the ball out. Bobby Convey, just 17 years old.
Landon Donovan starting that play with a good ball into space for Convey. Convey then dishing it very nicely. A good attack for the United States.
This portion of the match is brought to you by Haviland. Donovan's corner to the short post. Mathis. Williams. Frankie Haydick. Chris John takes it away. Here comes a big Brazilian counter. It's 3-on-5 as the U.S. races back in defensive transition. If they're not sharp offense to defense, they will pay. Here comes Cafu, a long run up the right side. They like to cross it right here from the edge of the box into the 6. Romario trying to settle. Llamosa on him. Play on off what would have been a handled ball by Romario.
Brazil without, of course, Rivaldo, Roberto Carlos, two of their bigger name players, but it's great to see Juninho here on the ball alongside Romario, number 11.
Mathis with a little bit of space, trying the one-on-one move, getting around Emerson, now going up the right wing. This is Haydick, who's got a lot of speed. Silvinho with the double block tackle. Emerson muscles Haydick off the ball and finds Vampeta. Vampeta with a burst of speed into space. Chris John turns it back. Ronaldinho Gaucho looking long for Romario, who is offside.
Well, as the Brazilians call him Romario, today wearing the armband for Brazil. So much respect for a player who many times for a lot of minutes in the game, looks like he's completely useless. And like a true goal scorer that he is, he can still, in one flash, create the goal that wins the game.
Armas trying to play short, long, up the line for Convey. Lucio is on it. Lucio 22, Convey 17. A couple of remarkable youngsters, and Lucio plays it perfectly. Let's send it downstairs to Rob Stone.
Well, guys, here in Hollywood, Finn is in, but it's really pushing it today for the U.S. men's national team. Just 4 field players are sitting on the bench coming into this, and that was before Jeff Agus got violently ill this morning, a case of food poisoning. He was visibly shaking coming off the bus today here at the Rose Bowl. He received fluids intravenously in the locker room. He will not even suit up today. Tony Sane, who was not supposed to play at all today, is now a definite maybe. He's sitting on the bench right now, ankle and foot problems, but he may get in.
Clint Mathis's drive blocked down by Roque Jr. Here comes the counter, Ronaldinho Gaucho carrying. Armas is back to delay him. Vampeta. The runner on the left is Silvino. Vampeta chips into the box, looking for Romario. Vanny heads it clear. Cafu. Romario misreads the run. Not be taking it away. Here's Mathis. Donovan with a man on, Alertly plays it out to the space. Frankie Hejduk out there. Back for Donovan. Back for Hejduk. Pretty poised play from Landon Donovan. He will turn 19 tomorrow. Trip in midfield and a U.S. restart. The United States does not field the same roster it had in Columbus Wednesday night, Ty.
Many U.S. players on European duty again with their clubs, including Brad Friedel, not on this list, but the goal scorer Ernie Stewart had to go back, and of course Reyna and McBride went back injured.
This portion of the match is brought to you by Budweiser. Tony Meola is wearing the captain's armband for the U.S. today. Chris Armas, who wore it Wednesday night after Reyna came out. Convey. This is Wolf trying to turn at the top of the box. Mathis. Step in quickly. Lucio showing why they are so high on him in Brazil. Some commentators are saying Lucio has a 10-year future with the national team. He could become one of the all-time great stars and a defender at that. There aren't too many who are among the all-time greats because so much of the emphasis with Brazil always is in creating offense. Reggie Williams steps in. Armas takes it. Donovan. Weaving with Wolf, has to play it hard to the outside to Hejduk.
The United States has actually showed some offense, some danger, at least through midfield, to head towards the Brazilian goal. You might be a little bit surprised because with all the firepower that Brazil always possesses, you might expect them to hem the U.S. into their half of the field, but it hasn't happened.
Vanny, Armas has a little bit of room. Up the line, Wolf closing, makes his move. Rogerio out to cover inside the 6-yard box.
Very ambitious play by the young American players. Talked about Josh Wolf's confidence in taking on 3 Mexican defenders at one time to set up goal number 2 in the qualifier on Wednesday night against Mexico.
Justinho Paulista taken down, play on, here comes Cafu. Cafu chipping long for Romario, but Eddie Pope is back. Eddie Pope is fit for the first time in more than a year. Had an outstanding game. Nearly was man of the match until Mathis got the assist late.
Well, between Jeff Agus and Eddie Pope, they managed to shut down a potent Mexican attack. Luis Hernandez and Palencia, very dangerous players. Bruce Arena very pleased with the defensive performance of his central defense in the qualifier against Mexico.
Ronaldinho Gaucho playing it back for Vampeta. Very rangy midfielder. Here's Cafu. He goes against the grain to the far side to Silvino, who's a left back all the way up 20 yards from the attacking end line. And that shows you the versatility, as we mentioned before. The liquidity of this attack. You never know where they're coming from, so you'd best keep your head on a swivel.
Brazil, since the late 1950s, known for their attacking wingbacks. Silvino, one of them who plays for Arsenal in the English Premier League. Cafu on the right side, we talked about him. Tremendous experience, a member of the '94 World Cup champions, where the final was played here at the Rose Bowl. Cafu plays in Italy's Serie A, makes some big bucks there for Roma.
It's almost a boutique team. Designer labels, every one. Roque Jr. That's Silvinho, the left back.
Roque Jr. from AC Milan.
Pope stepping well out and called for the foul. It's a good look at Ronaldinho Gaucho. Playing in his 19th full international for Brazil. Mathis takes it away on a nice tackle. Now here's Donovan. The weaving man is Wolf going forward to the ball. Donovan taking on two and double teamed. It is Lucio taking the ball away with help from Juninho Paulista.
Good double team for the United States. Just before that to win possession in the center circle. Richie Williams helping Clint Mathis.
Cafu on the long run against the youngster Convey. Cafu turns him to the inside. Cafu top of the box. Van Pettek to Cafu, 3 men offside, and alert back line from the U.S. This portion of the match is brought to you by Phillips.
Brazil attacking in numbers here, keeping this attack alive. Nice little dummy run initially. The shot perhaps should have been taken first time right about here, but clearly at least 2 Brazilians offside in behind the American defense.
If there's one thing the U.S. can do, it is defend. Great goalkeepers. Tony Meola with the national team since '88. On and off, to be sure, but a long and successful run and many good backs. World-class backs for the U.S. No goals allowed in last year's World Cup qualifying and a shutout against Mexico Wednesday night. Juninho Paulista playing it against the grain. It is behind Romario, and Llamosa takes it over. Those goals, of course, at home on American ground, just to clarify. Lucio stepping up, and here he is on the right side. This is the central back.
Brazil has so much confidence in their defenders. Many times they'll just leave 2 players back and attack with everyone else. 8 players full into the attack.
Williams settles it for Convey. Cafu right on his back, gives him a crack, plays it to the outside to Wolf. Josh Wolf looking for help. Cafu tenacious. Ball squirts wide and knocked out. Roque Jr. slide tackle.
Van Pettek, who has moved to Paris Saint-Germain, French First Division.
Vanny. Van Pettek. Taikio, what are your keys to the game today?
Well, always against Brazil, you must be patient defensively, not overcommit. They are so good one-on-one, they can destroy you. Also, if you do go into the attack, be careful because they'll immediately counter into any gaps that have been left by players coming forward. And, of course, Tony Miller will probably be tested, but so far I've been very pleasantly surprised in the amount of combination play the United States has been able to mount through midfield and nearly break through for chances on Rogério's goal.
Good hard work from Frankie Hejduk, wins the ball back. Here's Armas. Now Pope. And Llamosa as the U.S. settles it down and holds the ball a bit. If the U.S. has it, Brazil can't attack. Sounds simplistic, but in this game, every moment with the ball is a good one for the U.S. Wolf playing it off to Armas, first time. Mathis has plenty of room. Now he's going long right for Hejduk, who has blistering speed. Sylvania plays the angle. Hejduk vying for it. Silvinho picks him clean. Passes to the penalty spot to Lucio. How's that for confidence?
Yeah, I think you wanted to work a 1-2 there in the penalty area. Maybe a heel flick next time.
It's the kind of stuff that gives coaches heart attacks, but not in Brazil. Here's Convey with space left side. Landed Donovan and Wolf going toward the top of the arc. Donovan intercepted. Lucio reading the passing lane. He'll carry it himself. Christian playing it hard, but he gives it away to Convey. Convey 20 yards away, tackled from behind by Lucio and got a piece of the ball. Well, now we can see why they're so high on Lucio.
He's the real thing. Confidence on the ball. Good defensive instincts. He tracked back there nicely as Convey tried to load up his left foot.
Romario, prolific scorer. Christian, Llamosa right on his back. It's a push against Carlos Llamosa. No, they say play on. Wolf back to Hejduk. Llamosa in trouble, dribbling. Armas pops it back up. In fairness, the Brazilians are running 2-a-day workouts.
Including yesterday, before the match day.
And yesterday morning, they went hard, 11 on 11 for 45 minutes, full out, up and down this 120-yard field. Donovan challenging against Vampeta and called for the trip.
Brazilian coach Emerson Leal, perhaps, many people's opinion, the best goalkeeper all time ever to play for Brazil.
Hold on.
Veteran of World Cups for Brazil.
Bobby Convey is down. And this is more bad news for the United States, which has a very thin bench. Coach Bruce Arena on a possible letdown for the U.S. today. Well, he says the national team is on a high.
This would have been a real difficult game to get a group of players ready for if we had lost against Mexico. So we have some natural momentum and adrenaline still left over from the Mexico game, and I think it's a real positive not only for the game against Brazil, but also for the preparation for the game against Honduras.
The adrenaline has definitely shown for the United States. They've been able to come through midfield on several occasions and look dangerous in the attack. You would maybe think that wouldn't be the case, considering the number and quality of players that went back to Europe after the Mexico game on Wednesday night.
Silvino, the left back, going to the middle for Romario. Vanni heads to Cafu. Cafu chips it back to the top of the arc. Nice clearing. Williams in a battle against Emerson and pulls him down. This will be a free kick for Brazil. About 28 yards from goal, extremely dangerous. They have so many players who can swerve the ball and pick a corner even from here.
Too bad Roberto Carlos is not here. He'd try it from here, no question. See the chance here. And remember that the United States here still playing a man down due to the injury to Bobby Convey. He looks like he's going to re-enter the game here.
This portion of the match is brought to you by Nike. Shot, knocked down. Ronaldinho Gaucho taking it and collecting the carom. Chipping for Cafu. Donovan heels it out of there, but it goes right to Juninho Paulista. Top of the box, Richie Williams, man in the right place. Mathis up the line for Convey. Getting pushed from behind by Vampeta. That's Wolf, excuse me, and Wolf catching a cleat in the lush grass on the floor of the Rose Bowl. 7 fouls already by the United States in just the 18th minute. 2 by Brazil. Armas for Donovan. Donovan wearing Roque Jr. Stays with it, gets it back for Pope. Now Yamosa. Vanni. Shipping toward Convey, it's out of bounds. Convey back in, but what's the problem with him, Rob Stone?
Well, guys, it was suffered on a foul, a hard tackle right at midfield. It's his left ankle, it's bleeding right now. The tackle's so hard, it actually ripped his sock open right now. He's got an open wound that you can see from the sideline where I'm standing, but Bobby Convey gutting it out.
Well, that will be physical evidence of a battle and a lesson. And that's what it's like to play the best team in the world. You'd best come 100% of the time, because the Brazilians always play for keeps. They are everybody else's biggest game of the year, no matter what the situation. Convey, Wolf, Mathis chipping for Donovan. Roque Jr. sliding behind Lucio in perfect support. Silvino with Mathis chasing him. Mathis takes him down. It'll be a Brazilian restart. Flip Mathis brings an interesting personality to this team.
Mathis, an X factor. You never know what he's going to do next. Maybe Josh Wolf knows what he's going to do next, as they played together in college a little bit, and they certainly combined incredibly well for that game-winning goal on Wednesday against Mexico.
Rare misplay by the Brazilians going through the legs of Juninho Paulista and out of bounds. This portion of the match is brought to you by Hershey's Syrup. Convey, Wolf with Cafu going for a horsey ride. Finally, Cafu wrestles that calf down.
But in Josh Wolf, in Clint Mathis, you've got players that have the confidence to take on anybody, including great Brazilian defenders. Landon Donovan wants the ball. He knows he can do things even against the best team in the world that many people consider Brazil. Always have the most depth of talent, no question.
Williams screaming to the ball, knocking it out for a goal kick to Brazil. U.S. showing a lot of poise early, staying in position, making offense to defense transition quickly. Those were 2 points Bruce Arena stressed at practice yesterday. So far, the American players, even without Jeff Agus, down to food poisoning, are following his directions to the letter. Emerson against Mathis. Silvinho against Hayden. Vampeta. Juninho Paulista trying to play the 1-2 with Chris John. Chris John picks up the garbage. Silvinho outside against Hayden. Takes him on. Ronaldinho Gaucho is bouncing an easy stop for Tony Meola.
Jack, on the field, the turf is quite long, and it looks like the footing is not the greatest. We saw Frankie Hayduck go down a minute ago, but Silvinho was showing a few tricks out of that bag. Quite a few other dribbling tricks to come from Silvinho, I'm sure.
Vampeta wins the free ball, but then gives it away to Hayduck. Carlos Llamosa. Armas. Hopeful ball from Mathis. It squirts through to Emerson. Now Silvinho bringing it back. Ronaldinho Gaucho. The Brazilian players virtually all go by nicknames. Their given names are way too long for any play-by-play announcer to get out. Rob Stone down on the field. What do you have?
Well, Ty, just a moment ago, you talked about the field, and it is a little slick. They've been getting a ton of rain down here in California the last couple of weeks. But the big thing about the field is it's thick. Usually this Rose Bowl carpet is very thin, thick grass. Tony Meola had a big smile on his face. They said, Soner, I'm glad it's thin. I mean, I'm glad it's thick right now. It slows down the speed of Brazil, and it slows down their shots, too.
Richie Williams against Vampeta. Armas back to Meola. 60-yarder. Lucio backing up. Tries to play the target man, Vampeta. And Llamosa back to Meola again. Williams. Donovan. A little too slow. Mathis has to rescue it. He finds Convey. Lucio coming over defensively. Convey goes for the cross. Rogerio is there. Quick counter opportunity. Ronaldinho Gaucho with space. Richie Williams trying to close it. Vampeta looks around. Plays it straight up for Romario. Ronaldinho Gaucho. Challenged from behind by Hayden. Williams at the top of the arc. Here comes a 23-yarder. There's going to be a pretty good shot coming from Brazil here on the free kick.
Good look at Ronaldinho Gaucho on the dribble here. A revelation for Brazil at the FIFA Confederations Cup in '99. Richie Williams just kicking his heels near the top of the box. I think Ronaldinho in his mind had already decided he was going to go down if he felt anybody even breathing on him. But that's an intelligent play. And Ronaldinho Gaucho, not to be confused with the great Ronaldo, the other Ronaldinho, still out through injury, starting to train now more seriously with and ready almost to go back to Inter Milan.
Juninho Paulista and Ronaldinho Gaucho over the ball. The Brazilians asking for 10 yards from the U.S. Ronaldinho, the swerve, scores! Too good.
For decades, Jack, no one does it better than the Brazilians. This one to the inch over the U.S. wall, just barely, and they jump. They're trying to increase the size of the wall. Look at the wicked dippage on that ball. No chance for Tony Meola. He's hoping the wall can cover some of that side of the goal. Well, I don't think so when magically the Brazilians are able to make the ball swerve and change directions like that.
That shot from the Phillips goal cam really gives you an appreciation for the athletic ability of Tony Meola And even that was helpless against the perfect shot of Ronaldinho Gaucho. Getting a foul near the top of the box almost assures you of a near-death experience against Brazil. Convey challenging against Cafu. It goes out. It'll be a U.S. throw. And now Brazil has a comfort margin, a lead. And we're really going to see some rockets coming. Here's Romario turning. Vanny steps in, wins the ball cleanly. This portion of the match is brought to you by Allstate. Wolf, Donovan. Wolf playing long for Mathis. Silvinho back. Roque Jr. picks it up. The backs, no hesitation at all to race into space, to carry the ball confidently, to play as if they all are attacking midfielders. It creates almost infinite options for Brazil. Mathis, Armas. Clint Mathis. Landon Donovan. Mathis with some possession. Swinging it. This is Vanny. Behind Convey and out of bounds. Vanny very strong with his left foot. He played that one with the right. Now Brazil swings it side to side. Lucio to Silvinho. Ronaldinho Gaucho, the goal scorer. Vampeta. Correction, it's Emerson. Steps through Wolf's tackle. Lucio. The U.S. must be careful about a change in tempo here. Very slow right now for Brazil. When the motion begins, seams can appear very quickly. But Landon Donovan wins the ball back to Armas. Now here's Richie Williams running into space. Bumps with Cafu. It comes out of bounds. Brazil's ball. Richie Williams, a fire plug of a player. Listed at 5'5", 145 pounds. Originally from New York City. Ronaldinho Gaucho on the far sideline. Now Silvinho. Juninho Paulista. Christian, 20-yarder deflects. Loose in the box. Vanny belts it clear.
Greg Vanny playing in his home stadium. LA Galaxy central defender and sometimes wide defender, recently signing to a long-term agreement with Major League Soccer to stay here in LA.
Silvinho. You see the overwhelming possession that Brazil has. So many players with great skills on the ball. They can hold it, they can make you run, and playing defense tires you out.
Jack, the Brazilians don't even talk about ball control. They like to talk about dominating the ball. And that's what they do. And they can dominate possession, no question.
Juninho Paulista called for the offside as Vanny and his backliners step up. The U.S. and Brazil have played plenty of close games. The last 5 times they have met, in fact. The final has been 1-0, one way or the other. One of those to the U.S. Roque Jr. can't head it clear. Haydup runs into a little bit of trouble. Back comes Brazil. Juninho Paulista to the outside. Vampeta overruns the ball. Williams steps in. Vampeta is back on his feet to take it back. Cafu. Roque Jr.
They got it on a string.
Ronaldinho. Juninho. This is the overlapping Silvinho. Into the middle. Llamosa hammers it out. And again, a recurring theme as a defender. Just knocks it high and wide to safety. Roque Jr. Vanny again, high and wide. It's going to take someone winning one of those balls in midfield for the U.S. Spring someone on a Clint Mathis to Josh Wolf-like pass for the U.S. to get even unless something changes dramatically in this game. Brazil is dominating the ball. And here's Cafu, the right back, trying to chase it down in the corner, but it goes off over the end line. Check it over the sideline, it'll be a throw-in. Program reminder, next Saturday, the NHL on ABC is back. It's regional action. Check your local listing, Saturday, 3 Eastern. The NHL on ABC, home of the Stanley Cup. Romario chips middle. Christian Williams takes it away. Ronaldinho Gaucho against Haydock. Now back to Emerson. Vampeta. Ronaldinho Gaucho. Juninho Paulista turns. Deflected. The volley. Saved by Miola. It'll go out for a corner kick. Emerson coming all the way through and getting a chance 7 yards from goal.
Chance for Brazil. No offside here. Would run from a deeper position after the deflection, but fine reflexes by Miola to keep that one on. Looked like a certain goal.
Cafu's corner. Bounced around. Juninho Paulista pops it into the box. Pope wins it over Lucio. Here's a counter chance. It's 3-on-3 as the U.S. races forward. Donovan long into space, too far even for the fleet Josh Wolf. This portion of the match is brought to you by Chevrolet. Donovan casting his head backward, upset with the way he struck the ball. It wasn't nearly where he wanted it. Wanted to swerve it more off the outside of the foot and have the ball sit a little bit in space, curving away from the defender. He caught it much more high on the instep. Lucio, Cafu. The Brazilians are the masters of using the foot as a golf club. And they have about 20 of the clubs in the bag. Depending on what kind of stroke they use, they can do virtually anything with the ball. That goes for probably 8 of the 10 players running on the field for them.
Yeah, the chip and the wedge is well honed in Brazilian soccer.
Haydock looking for Wolf. Roque Jr. heads it out. It'll be a corner for the U.S. Josh Wolf making himself available. You can see a lot of players in the United States bent over, hands on knees. They're just now into the 33rd minute. Bobby Convey, 17 years old, taking the corner against Brazil. Yamosa, Landon Donovan can shoot, but he goes for the box. It's off Wolf. Got it on goal. Give him credit for that.
Well, especially because he was bumped in the penalty area at that point. Could have made an argument for a potential penalty kick. Maybe not quite enough contact there.
Emerson. Cafu. Ronaldinho Gaucho. Christian. Ronaldinho Gaucho. Emerson. And again, the Brazilians, you see them move the ball into the space that the runner just came through. The space that the run creates opens the next point of attack. Wolf, hard tackle, sliding from behind. And the Brazilian player down is holding his hand up.
Just before some good Brazilian interchanges through midfield here. This is Ronaldinho Gaucho. And it is a tackle from behind by Josh Wolf, playing aggressively. He's lucky to avoid a yellow card because of the challenge coming from behind. Ronaldinho Gaucho should be able to shake this off.
Sometimes when the sole of the shoe comes into that soft tissue in the back of the leg, it's extraordinarily painful for a few seconds, and you can come back. To recap what's going on in this game.
The foul by Richie Williams near the top of the box on Ronaldinho Gaucho. Sets up this free kick, little hitch in his step, and bends it just an inch over the wall, and the dip leaves no chance for Miola.
Back live now, Ronaldinho Gaucho is up. Christian being held at the top of the box, stumbles into the box. Pope gets away with it, and the U.S. gets the ball back. Wolf chipping for Donovan, back to Wolf, little 1-2 here. Donovan racing toward the top of the box as Wolf carries against Lucio. Tries to turn the corner, and the rangy Lucio takes care of even Wolf's speed. It'll be a corner to the U.S.
Wolf again breaking so quickly out of midfield, getting the ball from Mathis, and he wants to take on the Brazilian defenders. Good change of pace and direction here. But good defending as well by Lucio, again showing us his quality, staying step for step with Josh Wolf.
Donovan's corner into the middle, looking for Pope. Pope bangs heads coming through there, so he'll come out of there with a dent. We hope not the likes of Brian McBride's on Wednesday night. This portion of the match brought to you by Budweiser.
Jack, what's great is we've seen Josh Wolf on many occasions go right at Brazilian defenders. We've seen Landon Donovan do it. We've seen Bobby Convey do it. We've seen Clint Mathis do it. Here's the collision out in front.
And here's Landon Donovan at the arc. Silvino touching it away. Convey chips it back toward the arc. Oh, Juninho coming back to volley it, not only out of danger, but right to a teammate. Convey. Square, this is Williams into space. Wolf. Lucio steps up. And Lucio's on the attack along with Ronaldinho Gaucho fighting off Haydock's grab.
Well, Ronaldinho Gaucho showing us some wheels there because Frankie Haydock, one of the quicker guys on the field, he had no problem running right past him.
U.S. going for a 70-yard transition pass. Rogerio off his line. Now we're going end-to-end. Williams. Juninho takes it away. Haydock cranks it up.
Good skill there.
Chest trap. Everything we've seen from Lucio so far today has been a clinic. He's 22 years old. Ty, he's listed at 5'8". I think they lost something in the metric translation because he looks to be a good 6 feet tall anyway.
Either that or he grew several inches in the last couple of days. He might have. He's still young enough.
He's 22, number 3 in goal. Armas. Wolf didn't play it high enough. Caught it too much on the side of the foot, on a little more instep. Emerson chipping for Mario, trying to come back to Chris John. Bounces right back to Emerson. He plays it with a little shank on it, right to Cafu across the 6. Miola is there. Cafu wanted to draw the ball back a little bit more. The Brazilians fluid in their attack. U.S. walking the ball up here. Convey, Richie Williams, Chris Armas. Into the space to the right of Mathis. He goes farther outside to the overlapping Haydock. Tries to go down the line for Mathis. Too close. Silvino makes him pay the price. And back come the Brazilians. It's Vampeta. Looking long for Cafu. Convey back to head it out of bounds. Bobby Convey just got onto this roster when DeMarcus Beasley went down with a strained quadriceps muscle in training. Convey was called in late. As things turn out, it's a good thing he was because of Vegas's food poisoning today. He found himself in the starting lineup. This portion of the match is brought to you by Jolly Rancher.
Jack, of course, Tony Sane on the U.S. bench probably should not see action. A couple of dislocated bones in his foot after a cheap shot from Luis Hernandez in the qualifier Wednesday night.
Lucio back, tracking Donovan. Thigh juggles it and then volleys it with the outside of the foot forward to Ronaldinho Gaucho, who then takes it away from Mathis and holds it against the racing Haydock. Virtually every touch is a virtuoso touch from these Brazilian midfielders and forwards.
Brazilians known to caress the ball.
Emerson. Chipping for Cafu. Convey heading it. Now Cafu against Vanny. You see they're both slipping a little bit on that thick turf Rob Stone described earlier.
Jack, we alluded earlier to the toughness and grit of the American team on Wednesday night.
Ronaldinho Gaucho with Justinho. The combination doesn't work.
Brian McBride coming off with that hugely swollen right eye, demanded of the trainer Rudy Radowski, cut me.
Here's Romario with a chance. Across the 6, and Miola stops it on the short post.
Miola doing well there. Memories of July 4th on this field against Brazil in the World Cup. Brazil eliminating the United States in the round of 16. 1-0, Miola giving up that goal. Brazil going on then to win their unprecedented 4th World Cup championship.
Roque Jr. outside for Vampeta. Roque Jr. with Donovan tracking. Goes long up the line. That's a giveaway to Pope. Catching it on the thigh now, Williams. Jarvis showing.
Brian McBride wanted to continue to play. He wanted to have his eye cut so that the blood could escape and the swelling would go down. Tony Sane almost could not finish the first half of play because of the injury received from Luis Hernandez. Finished the second half after having to take a shot to the foot.
Mathis across the box, scores! It's 1-0!
Chris Armas starts it with a wonderful ball and a good diagonal run by Mathis behind the backs and a cross-corner shot that leaves Rogerio completely flat-footed. But an intelligent run here, a good early release on the pass by Chris Armas. And watch the pinpoint accuracy of this shot off the inside of the far post. Mathis ties the score for the USA. What a week it's been for Clint Mathis. On the bench against Mexico, not even sure that he'd get on the field. He ended up setting up Josh Wolf for the game-winning goal on Wednesday. Now he has a goal against Brazil less than 72 hours later.
His grandchildren will be bragging about that. Convey. Wolf. See what kind of emotional pump the U.S. gets from this. Lucio stepping up. Lucio losing the ball. Donovan going through to tackle the ball away. Williams upended. Ronaldinho Gaucho taking him. Quick restart. Here's Convey with a break. Convey, the shot for the bar post goes just wide. It'll be a goal kick. Rogerio almost got a fingertip on it, but not quite.
Well, the one thing in Brazilian soccer that always has been a little bit suspect, perhaps with the exception of Leao, who's the coach today for Brazil, is goalkeeping. This one, Rogerio reacts pretty well on the left-footed shot by Convey from the tough angle. But on the goal by Mathis, no reaction by Rogerio. I know it was very well placed by Mathis, but the keeper still has to go for that ball.
Rogerio. This is Lucio. Juninho Paulista. Cafu breaking up the sideline. Vanny taking it away. Back from Mathis. Richie Williams. Donovan. Convey.
In '98, I think the two brightest spots for Brazil in the World Cup, Cafu and Rivaldo. Had very strong tournaments. And the Brazilians make it all the way to the final. And because they don't win the whole thing, they're complete failures in the eyes of the Brazilian public and media.
This portion of the match is brought to you by Phillips. Ronaldinho Gaucho on a free kick in the 25th minute. Clint Mathis from Chris Armas in the 40th. It's 1-1. Here's Ronaldinho Gaucho. Romario, hard tackle from Pope. Ronaldinho Gaucho catches it back. Williams forcing him toward the perimeter. Silvinho weaving toward the inside. Mathis stepping up. Contact. Silvinho's desperate lunge gets it back to Lucio. Donovan challenging against Roque Jr. Donovan settles it. The U.S. comes up in a few numbers. Now Donovan takes the space. Runs into a hard tackle. Goes down holding his right knee. Donovan now pops up. Pope. Armas. Hayden. Pope. Possession. Holding the ball.
Well, it's critical always, right after a goal. The team is always susceptible. Maybe they relax a little bit, so if they're able to hold possession, it gives less chance for the opponent to try and get that one back.
Williams.
The fans appreciating this good possession play by the United States.
Donovan with Haydock flying up the right wing. Silvinho challenging. Haydock going flying down. It's a throw-in.
Should be a foul. Haydock clipped on the ankles. He tried to turn the corner there.
Donovan. Armas, who has the assist. Mathis coming back to the ball. Silvinho belting it high and wide. And for once, it's the Brazilian defender who's just knocking it to safety. The U.S. countered a brilliant shot by Clint Mathis, catching Rogerio flat-footed, and then catching the inside of the post. That's what has us tied as we close in toward the end of the first half. No word yet on any stoppage time that may be added. Cafu behind Convey, looking for Christian. Curls it all the way back to Romario, and Eddie Pope steps up. Silvinho. There's Armas. He makes his bread and butter in that arc.
Plugging up those holes.
50 yards on the carry here. couldn't get it outside to Wolf, who was dancing along the offside mark. Long ball for Cafu. 1 minute of stoppage time only. Cafu for Chris John. It's behind him. Pope is there again. Williams cleans it out. Coming up on the Allstate halftime report, Cypress Hill rocks the USA. An update on World Cup qualifying, an analysis of this first half. We're about to close it out 1-1. Brazil with the better of the play, but again, the U.S. can scrap and scrape. And a Clint Mathis goal has made it very interesting. Through ball almost got to Romario. Looked as if it was offside, but the flag stayed down. Convey, it's out of bounds in front of the U.S. bench. There should only be one last chance here for a Brazilian cross. Juninho Paulista. Ronaldinho Gaucho, 25 yards, flicks on, looking for Romario. Vanni all over him. Volleys it high and clear. The first half is over. Clint Mathis. The game is on in the second half. 3 substitutions for Brazil. Number 16, Ricardinho is in. Number 17, Euler is in. And number 18, Edilson is in. But we are going to have to deduce for you the players they are replacing, because we haven't had any kind of official notification from downstairs yet. So please bear with us on that. The U.S. fields the same 11 with which it finished the first half. And really, Ty Keogh, Coach Bruce Arena doesn't have a whole lot of flexibility there.
Well, it looks like Vampeta has left the Brazilian lineup. And also Juninho. But you talk about Bruce Arena's options on his bench. They are slim and almost none due to injuries and due to the fact that several U.S. players flew back to Europe.
Euler playing it into the middle to Edilson. Edilson chipping for Romario. Vanni steps up. In a World Cup qualifier, a team gets just 3 substitutions. Once you leave the game, you can't come back in. In a full international such as this, the limit is up to 5. And that's a huge advantage for Brazil today, as the U.S. has not much there, and really Bruce Arena has to hold Chris Klein as insurance in case somebody goes down with an injury. Mathis cracked hard in midfield, and Mathis comes up holding his left leg. Ricardinho is into the game for Brazil. There's a look at him. This is just his 3rd appearance for the international team, his 3rd cap. There's Euler. He plays for the fabled club Vasco da Gama in Brazil. He has 1 game and 1 goal, so a very dangerous player. And Edilson also in. The U.S. gets the restart. Hayden playing it forward for Donovan. Donovan very good on the ball, finds the seam, but it's deflected, and Roque Jr. looks long. Here's Euler running onto the ball, but Yamose is back to Miola. They'll have to play it with the feet. Ricardinho winning it in midfield. Miola will have this one all the way. This portion of the match is brought to you by Haviland.
Tony Miola, 1 stellar save in that first half of play to keep the game 1-0 at that time. Allowing Clint Mathis' goal in the 40th minute to not the score.
Edilson in the center circle. Mathis bangs him down. Mathis called for the foul. When Clint Mathis is on the field, taking nothing away from Claudio Reyna, the U.S. plays with a lot of fire, Ty.
You said it before, Jack. He goes for the jugular. And Reyna, very good possession player, spreads the ball, sprays the ball around very nicely, but Mathis likes to go at the goal and make the attack really hum.
Silvinho misplays it on the outside. The U.S. has a throw. It's 20 yards from the end line. Here's Frankie Haydock. How quickly will he play this? Looking for Donovan way over the top. Cafu will track it down. Let's go downstairs to Rob Stone.
The coaching staff, they're really worried about Ronaldinho, telling the guys, you got to help out Eddie Pope, Carlos Hermoso, working on him. Also, they feel they can run at the Brazilian team more often, i.e. Wolf and Landon Donovan. Also look for Kobe Jones very soon off the bench, probably for Bobby Convey, but that's too early to call.
Bit of a surprise there as Jones has been taking therapy on a heel. Euler knocked down in the middle of the field. Chris Armas and Richie Williams both making contact. They're both giving an argument. which will get them nowhere with the referee Felipe de Jesus Ramos of Mexico.
Well, knowing Kobe Jones and this being his home stadium, if in fact he does finalize his deal with the LA Galaxy, I'd love to appear here in this prestigious matchup against the legendary Brazilian squad.
Ricardinho is over the ball, but so is Ronaldinho Gaucho, who scored from about 10 yards closer on a free kick. He can swerve this thing as well. They're dangerous even here from about 33 yards. Three-man wall. Ricardinho playing it low. Yamosa popping that up. This is Silvinho against Frankie Hejduk. Silvinho into the 6-yard box. Miola covering it.
That was a quick cross. Didn't have very much space to get it in, but Silvinho has that kind of skill.
Off Miola's 70-yard punt. Emerson, the pop-up header. Wolf getting position. Mathis, half volley. Wolf off the heel looking for a combination, but no one running into the space. Emerson, Hejduk is on him and takes the ball away. Square for Mathis, has to chip it up. A lot of hard tackling going on right now as Clint Mathis is drawing a lot of attention. Emerson having a tangle with Mathis right there.
Hey, good tough ball winning at midfield by Mathis. He's got offensive skills, but in fact, Bruce Arena criticized him a little bit in the game against Colombia because he was scrapping too much and starting to lose his head in some of those midfield battles.
Scrap till the whistle and then save your energy for the next confrontation. Cafu playing in combination with Ricardinho. Ricardinho now coming well wide, but Hejduk sees it coming and intercepts before Silvinho can get it. Looking long diagonal. There's Lucio, the 22-year-old, stepping up to head the ball away. The U.S. takes it back, though. Here's Vanny holding it. Yamosa. Into the space. Hejduk has plenty of speed to make that up. You heard Richie Williams calling Frankie. Square for Armas. U.S. with some possession. Moving it around the perimeter. Vanny chipping into the corner from Mathis. Against Lucio. Lucio plays it forward and keeps it in the field of play for Ricardinho. Vanny made a good play out on the left side of the defense. This portion of the match is brought to you by Budweiser. Wolf, contact from behind, play on. Hejduk, contact from behind, and that's a push against Emerson. Emerson might be paying Hejduk back for the sins committed by Mathis.
That's how it goes.
U.S. restart about 45 yards from goal. Richie Williams on the serve. Wolf for Mathis, trying to feed him through the seam, and if Lucio doesn't get his toe on that,
That would have been so sweet.
Wolf is walking in alone. Pretty creative work from Mathis, but here comes the Brazilian counter in 12 seconds. They can go end-to-end on this 120-yard field. Euler out on the right side. Chipping forward, and Vanny has it after getting tangled up with Cafu. Armas, Wolf. Armas going long for Convey, who saw the space and took it. Donovan and Williams racing into the middle. Landon Donovan against Silvinho. Silvinho keeping it in to Rogerio. Landon Donovan forcing a good play by the Brazilian defense.
Well, a good ball by Bobby Convey into Landon Donovan, and I'm surprised Convey has any legs left after having to chase Cafu about 25 times on those 70-yard runs into the right corner in the first half. Convey looked like he was about to keel over a couple points in the first half.
Here's that close play.
Richie Williams bending in. Watch this one-touch pass, almost squeezed in behind the Brazilian defense. Lucio again making the big defensive play as Josh Wolf would have been in all alone.
Lucio a bit reminiscent of those tall, tough Italian defenders against whom Brazil knocked heads all day in that World Cup final on this field in 1994. Again, the Brazilians think they really have a find in Lucio. Just 22 years old. He could see 10 years of work if he stays healthy for the full national side. Armas. Williams trying to get away. Tackled from behind by Emerson, wins the ball for Ricardinho. Romario Cafu.
An underrated skill of the Brazilians. They're so quick in the tackle at midfield.
Euler going right at the American defense. Ricardinho. This is Ronaldinho Gaucho. Tries to slip it through the seam. Combination defense works. Here comes the American counter. It's 3-on-4. Mathis carrying. Good chase from Emerson. Mathis beats Silvinho. Oh, Silvinho, a desperation slide to take the ball, and Mathis fouls him from behind.
I'll tell you what, Jack, I may be stretching it a little bit, but you mentioned at the very top of our show the vast amounts of money earned by some of these individual Brazilian players. Clint Mathis doesn't know their bank accounts. He doesn't really care. And here he is going past Silvinho, number 6 here, who plays for Arsenal and is a millionaire. And Clint Mathis doesn't care. He blows past him. And when you think about it, somebody in Europe is watching these games, and they're going to start to think, well, maybe the price tag should increase on some of these American guys. It's a chance for the U.S. players to showcase their talents on a world stage.
And against the brightest star there is in soccer, the Brazilian national team. This is Silvinho, who just made the fine tackle. Roque Jr. for Silvinho. Beats Viola into the middle. Scores! Euler. 2 games, 2 goals for Euler.
Well, maybe Silvinho should be a millionaire. Incredible play down this left side. Silvinho plays a nice little ball with the outside of his foot. Then he races into the box to get on the end of this one. Look at the move he puts on Miola, and that serves a perfect ball across the face of the goal. That's brilliant attacking by a defender. Silvinho, the net empty, and a race for that loose ball. Wow, action right on the goal line. The USA down by 1, but it was a brilliant attack by the defender, the left back Silvinho, which created and set up the goal for Euler.
The Phillips goal cam giving you the view of the finish. Euler in the 56th minute from Silvinho. As you pointed out, Ty, that is a backliner, a wing back, going all the way up the field, beating the goalkeeper to make the feed across, so that all Euler had to do was to slot the ball home, just make contact. This portion of the match is brought to you by Phillips. There's Emerson. This is his 32nd appearance for the full national team. He has scored 5 goals for Brazil.
Silvinho stepping in front there. Very skillful player.
Hayter going up against Ronaldinho Gaucho. Ball still loose. Armas has it around Euler. Convey. Armas. Switching the point of attack. This is Hayter. Has Donovan. Donovan racing into the middle against Silvinho. Draws 3 men and then brings it across to Convey.
Brilliant ball.
Convey tries to get it into the middle, and Cafu has his number. Armas has the ball. Mathis. Contact with Ricardinho. Yellow card coming. Clint Mathis on an elbow. And a Brazilian player, Ricardinho, is down, reaching toward his right leg. We are going to get a substitution. Tony Sane is warming up to go in alongside Cobi Jones. Yesterday, Tony Sane hardly could walk. He had 2 bones dislocated in his foot on Wednesday night after getting hacked by Luis Hernandez, who is Cobi Jones' club teammate here in LA. Substitutions not brought in yet. Silvinho. Lucio. Roque Jr. Going long, Llamosa has it on the chest. Vanni chipping up the wing. Bobby Convey and Lucio. Lucio playing it back to Rogerio. Belts it long. Haydock heading it down. Silvinho has it.
What an experience for a 17-year-old Bobby Convey, matched up with Cafu this entire game. They're racing for balls out on that far side now.
Cafu picking his spot, moving to the corner of the box. Ricardinho out on the wing. Drawing the ball back. Look at them hold the ball. It's almost impudence.
Supreme confidence.
So much confidence. It's almost to the point of arrogance, but because it's Brazil, you recognize it. Roque Jr. Silvinho, who had the brilliant assist. Heel pass combination with Euler doesn't quite work. Hajduk read it. This is Emerson, the left midfielder, in combination with Edilson, who came on as a sub. Edilson all the way across. Cafu settles it. His drive hits the side of the goal.
The dribbling exhibitions by the Brazilian players. Emerson a moment ago dancing through a couple of U.S. defenders. The ball absolutely glued to his foot to help set up this chance for Cafu. What a rifle. Cafu unloaded from that right side.
We're going to get substitutions. Brazil has 2 markers today. Let's take a look at them.
2 goals for Brazil on the day in the 25th minute after Richie Williams foul. Ronaldinho Gaucho, look at the dip on that ball as it makes it over the wall and past Tony Meola. And then here, racing out of midfield, the left back. Silvinho gets around Meola, and it's finished by the sub, Euler.
Hajduk is out for Klein, and Williams is out for Sané. So the U.S. brings on 2 substitutions. Amazing that Tony Sané is out there. There he is, number 22, and he takes the ball away. It's ruled a push. Sané from St. Paul, Minnesota, excuse me, Kobe Jones, not Chris Klein. Kobe Jones went into the game, not Chris Klein.
This is where it gets difficult. If Brazil really spreads the field and establishes their possession game better than any other team in the world, they know how to ice a game.
This portion of the match is brought to you by Nike. Ronaldinho Gaucho. Ricardinho. Trying the through ball. Armas. Mathis. Looking for some support. Finds it from Vanni. U.S. has a long way to go in this game, almost a half hour. Some players showing a bit of fatigue, but here's a fresh Kobe Jones. He does have a heel injury picked up on Wednesday night. Eddie Pope getting into the offense. Can't quite pull the ball across the top of the box, and Rogerio has it.
Jack, it's really been an amazing performance by the United States, considering the emotional high and being able to keep that edge after the big win over Mexico on Wednesday night, less than 72 hours ago, having to fly practically cross country and get ready for an opponent like Brazil.
Bruce Arena said it is going to be a similar experience. Of course, he'll have his full roster, but a similar experience to 2 quick turnarounds in World Cup qualifying when the U.S. has to play a game and then another one 4 days later or even 3.5 days later in another country.
Good simulation, really, of what they will face.
Ricardinho has Ronaldinho Gaucho, now plays it forward for Romario. Intercepted Vanni.
Nice cool by Vanni, not only to intercept, but to get it fully under control.
Convey trying to beat 2 men, and Lucio picks his pocket.
Long legs.
Ronaldinho Gaucho. Edilson.
Good read by Yamosa there, stepping up.
Taking the ball away from Romario, and Yamosa carries, now finds Mathis. Kobe Jones. Donovan is on the far side, 60 yards away. Jones runs into a seam, and that's combination defense. Emerson, along with Silvinho.
Ran into a wall.
You could hear the bodies bouncing.
You know, Jack, I don't like it when in the later part of the game, Romario still hasn't scored a goal yet.
Silvinho. There's Romario. Oh, Vanni stepping around, making big contact there. It's not going to win Greg Vanni a lot of fans in Brazil.
Brazilian captain, Romario, is called in his home country. Had quite an illustrious career in Europe for a few years with Barcelona, where he's a teammate of Hristo Stoichkov. the Chicago Fire of MLS.
Chris Klein is replacing Bobby Convey, the third substitution of 5 permitted for the United States. World Cup qualifying schedule. The U.S. is away at Honduras later this month, but the next home game is April 25th in Kansas City. Moses stepping up. Here's Jones. Wolf, who hasn't had much to do here in the second half. Emerson controlling. And Emerson back to Rogerio. Pope calling. Settling it for Jones. Jones putting the one-on-one move. Emerson, the long legs, reaches around, knocks it out of bounds. The U.S. gets the throw. This portion of the match is brought to you by Jolly Rancher. Sané. 1-2 with Armas. Turns it back for Donovan. Finds the space. Jones. One-on-one against Silvinho. This is going to go the U.S.'s way. A push ruled by the referee's assistant right down there in discussion with Silvinho. And there's Ronaldinho Gaucho, who is also helping out defensively. Which is if Landon Donovan will take this. The ball's about 6 yards up from the end line. Good low-risk opportunity for the U.S. here. Sané was going up for the ball with Lucio there first. Jones. Silvinho heads it to Cafu. One time, then here's a quick counter. Adilson racing upfield. Euler has Romario on the far side of the box. Euler going right at Chris Armas. The shot! Save Miola. Sané. Looking for Wolf. Too far down the line. Roque Jr. winning it for Silvinho. Now Emerson. Euler. Ronaldinho Gaucho. Ricardinho gets it back from Euler. Near giveaway, Roque Jr. has to step up to win the ball, and a bit of a sloppy pass. Back comes Ronaldinho Gaucho, feeding the right wing. Cafu across the middle. It rolls all the way through the 6-yard box. Romario, a dangerous step away from the ball.
Brazil playing those diagonal balls into the corners, using every inch of the field to try and get in behind the U.S. defenders. And they get their wing backs forward into the attack, as always. Romario not able to get onto the end of this one at the far post. Kobe Jones, who has come on for the United States in '96, played half of the season for Vasco da Gama in Brazil. So he knows what it takes to be in that kind of competition.
Euler, Adilson working against Vandy. Adilson, a lot of quickness to get to the arc. Ronaldinho Gaucho gets the return. Silvinho against Jones. The cross. Yamosa parries it wide. The rush that resulted in the near miss by Romario actually began with a misplayed ball by Brazil in midfield. They make the transition so quickly, it's astonishing. Emerson into the middle. Ricardinho just wide.
What a loaded ball that was.
Program reminder, tomorrow, a win for North Carolina gives that school the ACC conference title. A win for Duke means it's a tie for the title. Number 2 Duke against number 4 North Carolina. Tomorrow live, 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC Sports. Lucio, a high challenge. The ball deflects to Kobe Jones. It's a 7-on-4. Jones goes for the shot. Save Rogerio.
Definitely worth a chance by Jones from long range. Ball may have been slightly deflected. Forced a good save out of Rogerio.
Brazil swinging it now. Adilson against Jones. Emerson. Roque Jr. up to Adilson.
Good defensive patience here by the United States. Not diving in, waiting to close it down to win it.
Josh Wolf winning it, and here's Jones in a foot race. Arms being pushed out by both players. Good use of the body. Roque Jr.
He can shield the ball. He's used to shielding it against Guys like Batistuta in Serie A in Italy.
Silvino, but there is Llamosa. Sane, Jones. Sane for Mathis. Runs into Emerson, who's becoming an increasing presence in midfield for Brazil. Ricardinho, Landon Donovan tracks him back, and the ball deflects to Pope. The U.S. looking to pull back into a tie here. Brazil dominating play in the first half. Clearly the better of the two teams here in the early second, but it has been the scrap and grit of the U.S. team that has kept it in this game. Jones with Sane. Here's Donovan showing. Back to Sane. Looks for the cross. Now tries to chip corner. Silvino got a piece of it. Emerson takes it away. Ronaldinho Gaucho, magnificent against Armas, who's very tough to beat. And Dilson. Here's the quick counter. It's Yulmer who has one already. Romario out on the side. Square. A 1-2 play, but here's Miola coming off his line to take it for the U.S.
Donovan here on the ball. I'd like to see him get more of the ball if the U.S. is going to create dangerous attacks.
Chris Klein, a big man who can really go. Creates space for Wolf. 23 yards from goal, trying to chip back for Klein. Headed out of there. Klein goes back to win it from Roque Jr. Wolf from Roque Jr. This portion of the match is brought to you by Allstate. Sane for Mathis, creating some space in the box. Turns it, but it goes wide of the short post. Unable to hook it back with defensive pressure.
Mathis making some dangerous runs. His goal in the first half came on a similar run here. Watch Ronaldinho Gaucho just put on a show here, going around Chris Armas. And Chris Armas, arguably in midfield, the best tackler and best ball winner the United States has. Ronaldinho made it look like Armas wasn't even there. Fans went crazy.
No embarrassment to get beaten by that man. He does it to hundreds of top-class players every year. Klein, Sane.
That was a move that was made famous by Maradona, Argentina. Dieguito Maradona.
Armas, Klein, Sane. Square for Armas, a good ball. Donovan chips Wolf. A little too high, and Lucio heads it wide for Cafu. Back to Lucio. Fancy move to the left foot and cracks it to midfield. Llamosa. Sane. Swings it wide right for Jones. Against Silvino, who rolls up his sleeves. Jones asks for help. Donovan showing it, rolls all the way through to Rogerio. We're in the 72nd minute. Alongside Ty Keogh with Rob Stone down below, I'm Jack Edwards. It's the U.S. against Brazil in a full international. The U.S. with many of its European players having gone back to their European club teams after Wednesday's World Cup qualifier. The stakes are not that high in this game, but it is a tune-up for both teams and a chance to compare their standing. The Brazilians have had the better of the play, but the U.S. has stayed close. Push on the U.S. The crowd not agreeing with the call. Roque Jr. Silvino. Up the line for Euler. Pope with contact from behind. It's going to be a U.S. throw. Eddie Pope.
Greg Vanny on the left side of the U.S. defense. And the U.S. really playing a 3-5-2, three central defenders.
Here's Josh Wolf with speed against Lucio. Wolf trying the move that worked against Mexico. Lucio giving him no position. Let's go downstairs to Rob Stone.
Well, Ty Keogh, just a few moments ago, you mentioned you'd like to see Josh Wolf and Landon Donovan get some more touches. Well, we happen to be tracking those two youngsters, two Olympians, this whole game, touches, chances, and shots. And they do have a lot of touches, but if you look at the numbers for the second half, Landon Donovan, just 7 touches in the second half. Josh Wolf, just 6. And neither of them have created any chances or shots in the second half.
The main chances really having come from Clint Mathis or even Kobe Jones when he first came in, looked dangerous on a long-range shot.
Armas. Vanny. Long down the left wing. Wolf coming back for Klein. Armas touches it through to Sané. Quick move. Here's Donovan. Donovan chips through to the right side. Sané! The shot! Knocked out of there by Lucio! Oh, Landon Donovan creates a beautiful opportunity, and Sané nearly puts it home.
A little Brazilian-style magic by Landon Donovan. Good combination play here. Tony Sané, Chris Armas. Watch the scoop pass. He just lifts it into the path of Tony Sané's run. Ball may have been hooking wide, but Mathis probably would have jammed it in at the far post. We'll see Mathis right there and clearing it essentially off the line.
Donovan's in, swinger, Rogerio has it.
But the pass by Landon Donovan, different class.
Armas. Silvino steps up to take it away from Mathis. Tony Sané, considering that on Wednesday night he played about 60 minutes with 2 dislocated bones in his foot, is showing me something once again. This portion of the match is brought to you by Chevrolet. Ronaldinho Gaucho. Romario back for Emerson. He can shoot from here. Deflected shot. Miola can't prevent the corner kick.
Really no one left on the U.S. bench other than Zach Thornton as a backup for Miola in goal. Jeff Agus out with the food poisoning that Rob Stone reported to us about early in the match. That means that Greg Vanney, instead of getting to play midfield on the left side wide in the 3-5-2, had to drop back as one of the 3 defenders as a central defender. But that let Bobby Cosby have perhaps the experience of his young soccer lifetime to play against Cafu.
Ronaldinho Gaucho to take the corner. Sané the clear.
Free kick by Ronaldinho Gaucho, number 7 for Brazil. First goal of the match in the 25th minute. Living up to the Brazilian reputation of the great free kick takers through the years for them, including Pelé, Rivelino, Garrincha, many others, Nelinho.
Ronaldinho Gaucho gives Jones a cuff in the face, takes it back to Roque Jr.
How about Roberto Carlos' free kick in '97 against France?
Here's Lucio, the center back, moving forward. Ronaldinho Gaucho, short for Edilson. Edilson putting a move on Armas. Tries the center. Yamosa tracking back.
Armas' energy, incredible, considering how much he must have depleted his reserves in the game Wednesday night against Mexico in Columbus.
90-plus minutes there. And he has played into the 77th minute here. Edilson into the middle. Ronaldinho. Correction, Ricardinho. The shot goes wide. Ricardinho coming on fresh at the beginning of the second half.
But when a team gets fatigued, they do start to drop close into their goal, perhaps a little bit too much. And Brazil has now found some space out at the edge of the U.S. penalty area to try some of those long-range shots.
Sané going up. Ricardinho. Silvino. Sané. Checking Pope winning the ball. Armas. Klein. Mathis is down, holding his right leg. Contact behind the play. I did not see it. And Clint Mathis will get some attention from the U.S. medical staff. Mathis scoring the goal for the U.S.
Late in the first half, the 40th minute. A great little run in behind the defense by Mathis. Good pass from Armas, and he picks the corner out on Rogerio, the Brazilian goalkeeper. Tied the score and win it at halftime 1-1, but Brazil has come out with the goal here in the second half.
Klein turning it inside, looking for Jones across the top of the box. Silvino there to take it away from Josh Wolf. The crowd doing the wave right now, getting itself a little bit more energized as the U.S. tries to press some of the attack. Many Brazilian supporters here as well. Very festive atmosphere at the Rose Bowl. Attendance estimated around 50,000 plus for this game. Jones outside of the foot flick, looking for Wolf. Mathis contends on the pop-up and wins the ball. Armas, Wolf off the chest, Roque Jr. got a piece of it, and Lucio clears it over the sideline. The United States has done quite well at home. It did lose to Colombia last month in Miami. Ronaldinho Gaucho sending it up for Cafu. Sane bowls him over and gets called. Edilson. This portion of the match is brought to you by Budweiser. Offside.
Clearly offside.
Euler looking for another one. How frustrating it must be to be a Brazilian goal scorer, because the only chance you have to play for this national team, if you're a sub, is to score every time you play. And so far it's 2 for 2 for Euler. Ronaldinho Gaucho trying to spring Ricardinho. It's Edilson. Draws it back. Euler splits the knee. Euler against Miola. Miola puts his hands down and snares the ball. That requires some courage on the parts of both players.
Brilliant stop by Miola. Some very good defending just before that by Carlos Llamosa, because he's holding the Brazilian attacker almost the whole way and getting away with it. Miola, and this fortunate little bounce perhaps here for Euler. I guess not. That's just real skill, folks, as he splits two U.S. defenders by chipping the ball through them. But Miola stayed with it, did not overcommit, and was able to extract the ball.
Vanni and Llamosa were the bread in that sandwich, and Euler scored it right through. Miola came up with the stop. Well, the goal's coming for Brazil on a perfect free kick that went over the wall, curved down and away from Miola and into the lower corner. And then an overlapping back who went all the way to the opposite end line, beat Miola and slotted the ball middle where Euler just tapped it home. And so Brazil has a 2-1 lead. Armas making contact with the ball, called for the foul against Euler. Armas brings, as you said, Ty, tremendous energy into the defensive midfield position. He may be the most indispensable player the United States has. This portion of the match is brought to you by Budweiser. Emerson, Silvinho, who had that assist. It comes out off Emerson. Kobe Jones, a second half substitution. Here's Mathis dragging the ball past, beating one man, but then giving up the long diagonal ball to Cafu, who reads those seams. Ronaldinho Gaucho, back for Silvinho now. Roque Jr. We're in the 83rd minute at the Rose Bowl. Brazil with a 2-1 lead against a very game, although depleted, U.S. team. Ronaldinho Gaucho trying the 1-2, and there is Armas. Jones has Donovan. Wolf is charging in, and there goes Jones right side. Through ball. Rogerio around, and Jones hurdles him. Very alert play from Rogerio coming off his line. Otherwise, Kobe Jones finishes.
Well, not bad stuff by the United States at this late stage of the game. Kobe Jones actually had started it, and then he supports the attack. The through ball by Donovan, a little bit strong.
Edilson at the top of the arc. Edilson taking on Sane. Sane, a big physical presence, 6'2", 190 pounds, forces him back outside. Emerson with a little bit of room against Chris Armas. Slides it forward for Euler. Miola covering his box. This portion of the match is brought to you by Hershey's Syrup. Sun coming out. It's been rainy here in Southern California, but a beautiful day to play. The U.S. and Brazil on the lush floor of the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. Chris Klein, Greg Vanning. Looking for an option. Has to come square to Sane. Emerson challenges. Emerson goes right through, and Armas is fouled. The U.S. with a quick restart, and Sane takes the space. Donovan, 25 yards from goal. Turns, can't get any room. Armas. Pope. Sonic. Armas with Romario taking a look. Move it around! You hear the U.S. players saying, move it around. Mathis, this is Klein outside. Quickly for Wolf, who stumbles, slipping on the lush turf. Lucio screens the ball and lets it run out. Let's take a look at the All-State save of the day, Ty.
Well, Tony Meola has been very sharp also here in the second half, but watch this save from the first half. Covers a lot of the goal and then reacts to just get enough of it to put it over the bar.
Tony Meola. Landon Donovan. Here's Clint Mathis. Ricardinho coming back, poking the ball away. The Brazilians counter in a lot of space here. The U.S. is tired. It's very late in the game. Entering the 86th minute. Edilson has a lot of room. Here's Euler, who has one already. Euler, patient. Ronaldinho Gaucho near the penalty spot. The blast and a save by Meola. Cafu lingering only 17 yards from goal.
Meola's looked pretty sharp. On the first goal of the game, you wonder maybe if he relied on the wall too much on the Ronaldinho free kick. But Brazil here starting to really make it show that the United States doesn't have the legs at this late stage with so few subs to rely on and having played such a tough game Wednesday against Mexico.
This portion of the match is brought to you by Phillips. Ricardinho. Edilson. Armas the defender. It's the change of pace. The Brazilians seem to have a higher gear. Cafu. Roque Jr. now. And Lucio. Spoke earlier about how Brazil can take the air out of the ball. Make it very frustrating when you're down one. But here's a giveaway. Rogerio just spraying the ball, and Jones will take it back. An error from the Brazilian keeper. Now can the U.S. make him pay?
Speaking of a little payback perhaps by Brazil for the last time they were in Southern California against the United States, taking a loss. The Preki scoring, Casey Keller shutting out Brazil in February of 98.
Silvinho fouls Jones after Jones beats him. Here comes a free kick, and Landon Donovan coming over to take it.
Jones off the bench, got a little more energy than most of the U.S. players. Obstruction by Silvinho. Stepping into Kobe Jones's path to the ball.
Now Greg Vanney coming over to tee up the ball. Vanney, the left back, all the way up on the offensive right side. We're about to enter the 88th minute. Two-man wall. Vanney does have a bomb on that left foot. Hammers it. Oh, just went over the top. Greg Vanney trying a dipsy-do to the far top corner. Only missed it by about 18 inches.
Vanney drives the ball with extreme power. This one has quite a bend to it as well. Rogerio backpedaling. He pretty much knew it was going to clear the bar.
Rogerio's goal kick. We have no signal yet from midfield on how much stoppage time there will be. I don't imagine there would be much of it here in a full international. Sometimes called a friendly. Bit of a misnomer. The Confederations may be friendly. The Brazilian side signaling out 2 minutes to their players. We haven't seen it officially yet on the panel that goes up from the fourth official. Chris Klein. All the way across for Jones, but he shanks it. Plenty of time for the Brazilians to strike again. Several times in this game, in less than 15 seconds, we have seen passing combinations go 120 yards for very dangerous situations.
Well, Jack, regardless of the result of this game, quite a week for the U.S. men's national team.
Emerson trying to race away from Mathis. Emerson, Armas comes in. Cafu, Armas blocks that. Cafu will let it run out. Romario. Emerson. Ronaldinho Gaucho. combination with Adilson. Here's Silvinho. Brings it back across the box. The header goes wide. Adilson with a golden opportunity as Silvinho creates another one.
Both Silvinho, number 6 on the left side of midfield for Brazil, and Ronaldinho Gaucho have shown a lot of class in this game. That's a tremendous cross. Viola would have had no chance had that ball just been inside the post. There's Silvinho, who created the game-winning goal with a brilliant run down the left side.
Textbook stuff. The Brazilians in training yesterday were crossing from the border of the penalty box all the way that close to the goal, and they wanted to cross the ball just to the top of the 6-yard box, and that's exactly where Silvinho's ball was, as if it was out of yesterday's training drill. That's execution.
If the ball's driven at the top of that 6-yard box, the small box out in front of the goalkeeper, he almost has no chance of getting to it, and so difficult to react to a head ball. It's so hard to read it off the player's head as they just change the direction of it at the last moment.
It's also pretty hard just to do it. Actually, to execute it. A lot of coaches can say what they want. There aren't so many players who can actually pull off what they want. Vanny's long blast, he sprays it wide, getting a little bit under the ball. We are in stoppage time, and if you can read that, you got better eyes than I have.
There
2
it is.
minutes, there it is. No matter how they hold that up, it always seems to catch the glare of the sun. Every time. Rogerio belts it out. We hope you've enjoyed this game between the United States and Brazil. Some very entertaining soccer, and I'm impressed with the grit that the U.S. has. Joe Max Moore not here, Brian McBride not here, Claudio Reyna not here. The European contingent having gone back, and the U.S. has played tough against Brazil. Brazil clearly the better of the two teams, but you have to be impressed with the grit and the fight that is in the U.S.
Got quite a 72 hours for the U.S. national team.
Here comes Adilson, working against Armas. Ronaldinho Gaucho, just wide. It can come from anywhere at any time.
Tony Meola has seen this too much in the second half. The Brazilians having space to line up these shots from long range, and been fortunate on a few of them. They've been hit so well, but they've only been a couple of inches wide.
So through ball looking for Euler. Yamosa on him defensively into the middle. This is Adilson with some fancy moves. Romario ever dangerous at the 18 against Vanny. Romario back in. Romario. Vanny trying to force him outside and does. That's gut check time for a defender, and Romario's not done.
That's the defensive patience we talked about for the U.S. Vanny showing it very well, not diving in.
Ronaldinho Gaucho across the top of the box. Pope sends it out to Landon Donovan. One more chance. Euler. It's onside. No, now the flag comes up. Landon Donovan is down. A late tackle behind the play. He will struggle back onto his feet. The stoppage allows us to tell you that the Chevrolet USA man of the match is Clint Mathis. $1,000 will be donated to the U.S. Soccer Foundation in Clint Mathis's name. The match is over.